Hi, I'm Mark Gibbs with the Great Outdoors Nursery in Austin, Texas. And today we're going to be talking about Tillandsias, a little bit of maintenance, location, different varietals, things like that. And we're starting out here because we've got our rainwater cisterns. Air plants love rainwater. They like distilled water, preferably not tap water. If you can be safe and not use that, that would be better. So we're going to fill up our sprayer. And then for those who are dippers, we're going to fill up a bowl so you can dip. Okay, so we snuck inside now and we're with our selection of Tillandsias. We typically have around 15 to 20 different species that we carry. And in spring, sometimes that'll be a little bit broader, just depending on the availability. We do bring them in from a couple of different suppliers. So some are, the second supplier we use has some really awesome specialty ones that we love to bring in. They're a little bit more expensive, but they're very unusual. So one of the biggest things we found with Tillandsias, people have issues with the watering. And I learned this the hard way over the years, especially when I took over this category. Tillandsias, when you spray the moisture from over the top, what happens is, when we give that a nice little mist from over the top, what happens is it's going to hold on there, but it runs down in here to the very crown. And the issue there is, over time, that's where the cuticle is really, really thick, and this is very, very tight. It's not very open. Well, those will begin to suffocate. They'll start to rot and fall off over time. And you may think it's dry, so you give it that little spray over the top, but what's happening is these tips and sides may be dry, but that inner heart part, if it's not getting really great circulation, those guys will suffocate and you'll go to pick it up and all of a sudden the center will just pop right out and you'll have all these little leaves sitting over to the side. So what we recommend is taking your Tillandsia, and I hold them sideways and I just spray up into it. And the cool thing here also, what happens is, one thing, we're getting that water to run back down over these leaves. The second thing is, when you turn it back over, you will see some obvious areas. If you've missed it when you've watered, if some of these areas didn't hold the moisture, you'll see those areas. It'll be very, very clear. The leaves get super dark when you get them moist. So no matter what variety is, you'll get a good visual on. If you missed a spot, you can turn it back over. Usually I'll just spin as I'm spraying up into it. The next most important thing is I'll take it and I'll shake it off, give it a really good shake before I bring it back upright. Again, we're trying to prevent that water from getting down into this bulb part and causing that to start to suffocate and fall apart. So that's one of the best tricks we've learned. Then secondarily, during the in-between time, say we're watering every 7 days, we'll come through and just gather the tips and again, hold them upside down and give those tips a nice little mist. These guys parch the fastest, and when you've got them in an air-conditioned area or you've got them in a high heat area during the winter, they will parch really, really fast. So you may be on a 5-day schedule for misting as opposed to a 7-day, which was typically what we can do here. I thought it would be great years ago to put them out in the rain, thinking, oh, the rain's going to be great for them. Well, 3 days later, they just fell apart because the rain was so heavy, there wasn't much sunlight, wasn't a lot of airflow, and we didn't get the evaporation. So again, we learned even if we put them out on the rain, we'll try to put them on their sides and then just kind of spin them during the rain cycle. So they're still getting that moisture evenly, but it's not sitting down inside this heart. We've had so many just fall apart when I started doing this. So that's a good little trick. Now there are people out there who like to dunk. If you're a dunker, and again, we do this during the winter. We have some birds in here. We have heaters running extra for them. So it gets really, really parchy in here. So one of the things we'll do when we dunk them is, again, we've got our rainwater, we've got our bowl. So what I'll do is I'll set them down inside the bowl, upside down. And sometimes if you've got a bigger one, you may need a deeper bowl. And we'll leave them in here with everything submerged for about 10 to 15 minutes. That gives them a really, really great time to saturate all the way around those leaf blades. And then when we've had it soaking long enough, we'll take it back out, make sure it drains real well, give it a great shake, and then turn it back over. We have quite a few guests who are dunkers and they have great success. Again, they're using rainwater, distilled water, and they average about once a week and about 10 minutes on a cycle. Now, if you've got a restroom that's got good windows, they love steam. So you might not ever have to water it if you've got it in a restroom where you've got a good steam situation going on. You've got them near a kitchen sink where you're running a lot of hot water washing dishes. Got them near a dishwasher where you're getting steam released when the dishwasher is cycling. They will take areas like that. We get a good flow of eastern sun, and then we've got some skylights in here that'll give us about 2 hours of a solid hit during the day, and that is enough to keep them in color and keep them flushing. They're pretty slow growers, so you have to be patient if you're expecting them to gain size overnight. They're not those kind of plants. They grow very, very slow. And then typically, once it's peaked at maturity, they'll start putting on little baby plants down at the base. Every once in a while, you'll have some come in, and people will see these little hairs coming off, and they'll wonder, well, do I need to keep those soaked? Well, where these grow in nature, these guys are actually attaching them to the tree, so they're more anchors than they are feeding system. So when you see those, these are great guys to mount. We did a video a while ago where we did mount some of these, and they come out really beautiful when you use them on bark or cork wood or something like that. Make a fantastic accent. They also work well with orchids. They can handle that sort of same cycle, and they help kind of keep that humidity around an orchid plant as well when you're giving them that mist in between times. So just remember, there are so many different ones, and sort of one of the rules of thumb we've also learned is that the silver ones tend to be a little bit more sensitive to being too wet. So if you're getting a variety that happens to be silver, like an Ionantha or a Mexicana, something like that, you may watch on that water cycle and make sure you're not doing it too heavy, because they will peel apart pretty quick. The tips on these can definitely use it on a regular basis, but as per just drenching the plant, you may be able to get them a little further apart in the cycle. There are fantastic varieties. We get in the soft leaf stricta, we get in the hard leaf stricta. These actually put on some nice little cute pink blooms with blue tubules in them. We get in the usinoides, so there's a thick usinoides, there's a super fine usinoides, and then we just have the standard Spanish moss. These are all usinoides, they're just from different parts of the world, but they make a great accent again. With an orchid pot or something like that, you can tuck them into the sides of the pot, and they really take the watering cycle that an orchid would, and they give a lot of flair to the orchid itself. The big guys, you can get xerographicas. We bring the baby xerographicas in, but these will get 8 inches across when they're getting really, really mature. We bring in some of the Stramineas, which are just phenomenal species, really, really beautiful. This one puts on a spike that's got white flowers as tubules, and they actually have a scent to them. So another one just really stunning for an accent piece. Again, they're not cheap, but they're beautiful accent pieces. The other thing is you don't have to worry about soil, you don't have to worry about dirt, a mess being anywhere, and they stage easily in just about any situation. Terrariums, they make a beautiful accent in a terrarium. So if you're a person who's not great with soil and how to keep plants moist enough in pots and things like that, Tillandsias are a good way to get your feet wet without getting into that next cycle of worrying about a pot and dirt and moisture levels. Also placement, if you're not getting enough light, they're very easy, they're very portable to move to a situation where you may need more light to get it to hold color or to get it to keep getting larger. Well, if you have any questions on Tillandsias, please join us at the Great Outdoors. We'd be glad to go over these tips with you or help you find a choice just for you.